Okay, I think we're ready. Just as I get started, Nina comes and sits with me on the chair. So that definitely means we're ready. Hello, everybody. Jan of Jan Hicks Creates here, back at you with Flosstube number 147 and over 15,000 subscribers. Amazing. More on that in a minute. Let's see. Had a wonderful trip to Arizona. First of all, let me back up and say, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you've stuck with me. I'll go into the 15,000 more in a moment, like I said, but welcome. Welcome to all those who've been here with me through all of it. Welcome to those of you who are new. This is a channel about cross stitch and knitting and just about designing cross stitch, just about any craziness that I can get into. I share with you and I drag you along with me. And I love that there's so many of you who enjoy that. Anyways, we had a fantastic trip to Arizona, visiting my father-in-law. It was a beautiful drive. It was a gorgeous week. A lot of you were saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's so cool here while you're visiting." I will take upper 60s, low 70s to, oh, we're up to 16 now in Idaho Falls. So yeah, when 36 starts sounding balmy, 60s, 70s is downright warm. Although we had to laugh whenever we were out for walks. We would see all the locals kind of bundled up in their jackets walking, and Mike and I are in shorts and short sleeves. Yeah, it was a fun trip. It was so good to spend time with Mike's dad. Always hard to leave because you know that there's a bit of a vacuum for him after we go back to the kind of, no one to talk to is his main thing that he has problems with. So quiet, nobody around, no cat to yell at, because Nina does travel with us. So yeah, we plan to get down there once a quarter at least. Hopefully he will be able to come up and visit us as well. And the added benefit is a trip to the attic every time, and lots more on that in a bit. So let's see. I hope you enjoyed the views, by the way, that I posted at the beginning of our trip down there. Just, we went down south into Utah as far as St. George and then crossed down into Arizona. And, sorry, hair distracting me, and kind of headed east in between where the area where the Grand Canyon is in Arizona and the area where Zion and Bryce and Monument Valley. So there's like a strip in between there that we traveled east on and then south into Flagstaff. And it's just amazing, amazing country. I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of the reasons Mike and I like to drive so much is because there's just so much amazing scenery, especially when you get off the main roads and into the back roads. Yeah, there's nothing like it. So that is what you saw at the beginning, that trip from mostly from St. George down to Flagstaff. Few shots of Idaho and northern Utah as well. Okay. Let's see. First of all, before we get started on anything else, I wanted to remind you of my Knit for Food fundraiser Knit-a-thon coming up on February 12th. Again, this will be linked below. Thank you so much to those of you who have already donated. It's, there are certain things that you can't say thank you enough for, and this is one of them. This will be helping so many people and especially children in need. If you have not looked at this yet, again, follow the link below and there will be more details that you can read about. I know there's at least one of you that also plans on joining in on February 12th for the Knit-a-thon. I will not just be knitting. I will be stitching and knitting. It is 12 hours. So yeah, and there's also a Zoom, some Zoom sessions associated with it for those of us joining in that will have some classes, some speakers, just some fun things. I think some ergonomic knitting tips type of thing, just all kinds of different, not all day long, but on and off through the day. I don't know the schedule yet, so I don't have any details on that. But anyways, again, I appreciate so much those of you that have already donated, and I want to remind anybody who might be thinking of it or who'd like to check it out, just to go ahead and follow that link and get more information about it. There are 3 charities that 100% of the donations go towards, and they are all feeding the hungry charities. Okay, what news? Not a whole lot. The main thing is that if you've been on social media at all, whether Facebook or Instagram, you have started to see the Nashville Market sneak peeks. It is always such an exciting time, not only for designers who are pushing themselves to get done as many releases as possible for the market, but also for all of us stitchers who love seeing the sneak peeks and love seeing the new stuff coming out. There is a hashtag that you can search on both on Instagram and on Facebook. If you just type this hashtag in the search bar in Facebook, you will get all of the posts by people who have used this tag. So Nashville Needlework Market 2022 is the tag, hashtag in front of that, to see all the sneak peeks that are happening. And of course, as we get closer, that is the first weekend in March, as we get closer, there will be more and more sneak peeks, more and more previews. Shops will be starting to order pre-orders. I did a video going through all the sneak peeks, well, actually not all the sneak peeks, all the actual products that were going to be available so that you could get in touch with your shops and pre-orders. Carolyn did it last year, Carolyn Zook, See Zook Stitch. She is going to be doing that again this year. And it's just a great look at kind of like having all of the things all in one place so you can make a list and then get in touch with your local shop. Or I know Carolyn, I believe she'll be doing it through the Garon Toten Bags, actually the Garon Stitchery website again this year. So you could get in touch with them if you don't have an LNS. But yeah, it's a great way to see what's out there, make your list, and get your pre-orders in. So I am excited to see that, and I thank Carolyn for taking on that task again this year, because it is a lot of work and it is a long video. So thank you, Carolyn. Okay, my news. Now, you might have noticed that I kind of lumped myself, if you will, in with the stitchers rather than the designers for Nashville. I don't know how to do Nashville. I guess I should say, being a relatively new designer. And it's not something that I ever really foresee myself doing. It's not just getting yourself there. It's having a room and setting up a display table. And since I don't do printing of patterns myself, the idea is that shops go to Nashville and the designers have the patterns ready to go. So the shops get the pre-orders from people, or they have an idea of what they also want to order for their shop, and they go to Nashville and they buy them and bring them back. So you have actual product being sold. It's a wholesale only market, so it's only for shop owners, but they actually go and buy the things and bring them home to their customers. So it's not like they're ordering, although there are some additional orders or some orders that are placed that are sent. For the most part, people are store owners are actually buying the product. Since I do not print patterns myself, Nashville doesn't really work for me. So Nina's had enough of this. So yeah, I lump myself in with the stitchers when it comes to Nashville. Now, I do have some new things that will be coming out between now and Nashville, so I hope you will include me on your list of charts that you must buy. One that I hope to have done here fairly soon, like by the end of next week, is my sewing box sampler number 2. get this all, I have threads all over the place here. I am, I think, about 80% done with the stitching on this. So there is that. I'm actually, hold please, I'm going to close this blind some because I think this, having this window here really blows things out a bit. I don't want it to be too dark, but it seems like it creates so much of a glare that it kind of blows out the colors. Yeah, I think that's better. So anyways, sewing box sampler 2, stitched totally in DMC on 40 count linen, Mayflower linen from Fox and Rabbit Designs. It is all curly because stitching in hand does that. So yeah, I'm about 80% done with the stitching. I still have to chart, so you will see underneath, there's underneath the STU and the rest of that alphabet, line of the alphabet here, there's some space. That is where it says Por Carmen, 1873, I believe is the date. I am going to drop that space down or increase that space a bit to hopefully have 2 lines here. So there will be a separate chart with additional space in here. So that means this board, the side borders will be longer to be able to put in for a birth sampler, name, date, possibly place of birth, weight, that kind of thing. So yeah, I will have to chart that yet once I'm done stitching the model. So that is my progress on that. Very pleased with that. I also am working on a couple of spring designs. I've shown you before the colors for my next NPI floss design, which is a collaboration with Fat Quarter Shop. They provide the floss packs. So the designing of this is done. Love this palette, if I do say so myself. I will start stitching that once I am done with the sewing box sampler. So that is that. And then I also have been working on, oh, I thought I was missing some blues. There's some the other colors for my NPI design. So that's that. I am also working on another spring design. I have the design finished, and this is the palette for that. These are over dyed flosses. So those I hope to have out in the world by March. But I have some exciting news for you. I have some finishes, and these are finishes that I finished in December to go into the Stitch and Stuff box by Everything Cross Stitch. Now, I mentioned this box to you back then several times since. This is the box that goes out quarterly. They sell quarterly at Everything Cross Stitch, and they invited me to be their featured designer for this box. The box theme is holiday, hitting the holidays. And so I'm going to go through and show you what's in this box. This box is actually a giveaway. I am not following my notes well enough, so I've gotten things out of order. I first wanted to say, so this is going to be a giveaway for my 15,000 subscriber celebration. So not only do I have the 4-year celebration, and I will be pulling the winners for the 4 winners for that and sharing that with you at the end of the video, but I also have reached over 15,000 subscribers. And as I said, it does kind of blow my mind. It's not like I had any idea where I was going with this when I started in, what does that make that, 2017, 2018? I don't remember. And you know, there's some of the floss tubers out there that you look at their numbers and say, well, yes, of course. I mean, Priscilla and Chelsea, right? They are, they're so funny. They are so fun to watch. And of course, they're designing now. I don't know what their numbers are now, but it's much, much greater than mine. But, you know, they are so much fun to watch. Brenda and Laura, Brenda and the Cereal Starter, of course, they are the dynamic duo. They have beautiful stitching. They have fun stories. They do fun things. They're just an amazing, amazing stitchers, friends, couple. And again, fun to watch. Pam and Steph, again, just hilarious, a hoot. Beautiful stitching, beautiful stories, just great. Liz and Deb, the country stitchers. Of course, who doesn't love to look at Deb's country home and see her decorating, right? I'd love to get her in here and have her help with me, help me do something with this place. But, you know, it's hard. It's much harder whenever it's just one person. There's not the dynamics and the energy that happens when you have somebody to talk to, right? So to get to 15,000 just does kind of blow my mind. And also, I'm just a little crazy when it comes to stitching. And so I do appreciate whether you've been with me since the very beginning and have gone with me through all of the ups and downs. And there have been really some pretty bad downs. There's been some pretty downer videos, and I'm aware of that. But there's many of you who stuck with me through all of that. And then the newer people who came to me either through my Basics of Cross Stitch series, through Fat Quarter Shop, however you've stumbled upon me and you like what you're seeing, and then you go back and binge watch all of them. That's just kind of crazy to me. But I do appreciate it. I appreciate you all being here. I do love reading the comments and interacting with you all. It's just, I know I've gotten to know quite a few of you just through the comments, through different social media channels. I've had the privilege to meet some of you in person, and I know as time goes on, I will meet more of you. And there is a bond that's formed, even though we've never met in person. There is an incredible bond that's formed just through social media, through this craft. And when you meet in person, it's like you've known each other for a long time. So anyway, thank you for being here. That's the bottom of my heart, what I mean to say, and what I meant to start with, because 15,000 followers is a big deal. And so 15,000 followers means another celebration, another not a prize. I'm not doing another giveaway, but I am going to have 15% off in my store. I haven't decided for how long. Yeah, I'll figure that out. But for now, until sometime, maybe the next week, maybe till my next video, I don't know, 15% off. 2 weeks, how's that sound? Starting today. I haven't set that up yet though, so don't go rushing there. Right, well, by the time this video uploads, I'll have had it set up. Oh my God, scattered. So part of that giveaway is, or part of the celebration is the Everything Cross Stitch box. And so I'm going to show you what all is in it. First and foremost are 3 small designs that I did for the holidays here in the first quarter of the year. So first we have Valentine's Be Mine, and these are all just little pillows. The requirement was that they would be on fabric 6 by 6 inches. So that is that one. Next we have St. Patrick's Day. And so these are all stitched with DMC, just a few colors of DMC. I've stitched them on linen, of course, or even weave. I believe there's DMC in the kit in the box. And then last but not least, Easter. And so these all have kind of a different feel to them. This one is a little bit more primitive. So yeah, those are the 3 designs from the box. You also get, and I've never seen this before. We actually have something like this for the trash can in the trailer. Bitty Buddy. So it's a collapsible little garbage can type of thing, nylon. It has this elastic strap that you can close it up for carrying it around easily. And then it pops up to, it's probably about that big by the looks of it. But that's a nice size little garbage can to take with you to retreats. There is a set of 10 cards and envelopes with windows in it to put, you know, some kind of a little picture, stitch or design. I don't know whether I don't think there's any stitching stuff in it, but that is something you could do with that. This I thought was really cool, a needle palette. So it's kind of like a, I forget what the big ones are called, but it's kind of like those things that you stick your needles in, you write your floss number and the symbol on the little card on the top, and then you stick your needle in the sponge. Kind of has a picture of it there. I think that's really cool. Now, it looks like there's multiple sets of the cards in there, so you can use it for more than one project, or of course use pencil and erase whenever you run out of cards. There may be resupply cards at Everything Cross Stitch. I don't know. This is called the Needle Palette. I can see myself getting some of these. And because it closes up, you know, I think this is something you'd have to leave out because it closes up and the needles, it wouldn't be able to close with the needles in there. Well, it might be able to because the threads would hang out. I don't know. I think I will need to get one of those and try it out. See what I think. Then you have my designs. So like I said, it has Ada and the floss. I can't tell if there's a needle in here. Let me get my glasses. Yes, it looks like there is a needle. You can kind of see a piece of ribbon sticking up here. So I think that has a needle attached to it. So you have Be Mine. You have Lucky, or Luck. I love the graphics that they did for these. So the pattern is in there. It is a paper pattern. So yeah, there is a needle there. And then Easter. So those three are in there. And then, in addition, so there's this card that is at the top of the box, and it gives information about everything that's in the box. I don't want to show it too close because there are codes on it to get 20%. Let's see, codes are for one-time use only and expire on March 31st. So you get 20% off. So this is on Everything Cross Stitch. 20% off all of my designs on there. So that's the paper patterns. And then 20% off all stitching supplies. And they do have codes that they include on this card. So you get all of these plus 20% off my patterns on Everything Cross Stitch and 20% off on any other stitching supplies that you get. So that is the Everything Cross Stitch holiday, hitting the holidays box. And this is a gift for one of you. Let me get all this put back away. Nina has decided to visit me again. She's probably hungry and wants her human to go upstairs and put some food in her bowl. But that is not going to happen until the video's done. Okay, and the other thing that I will be giving away is another gift from Kim Stitch and Stuff from Canada. She is on Etsy. She has the different project bags and the needle, the floss holders. So this is the one I've picked out to be a giveaway for my 15,000 subscriber celebration. Now, the inside of this, I use these actually quite frequently to hold my spools of Vicki Clayton silk. So you can see, The spools are sitting in the little pockets. She actually makes these for bobbins, for your project bags, for your bobbins for your projects. So you can see there's a bunch of little pockets in here that your little bobbins would slide into. And then there is a zippered area down here to hold any other notions that you might want to carry along with you. So that colorful one is the one that you will be getting from Kim in Canada. Okay. I think that is all my business news. Let me move my pillows out of the way. I'm really happy with how these turned out. You know, you never know whenever you're, I don't stitch often to requirements, or I don't design often to requirements, so you never know, or I never know going into something like this, is this going to work or isn't it? So I'm always thrilled when it does. Okay, other stitching. Let's see. So first and foremost, the Heartfelt SAL, the Heartfelt Stitch Along by Fat Quarter Shop. The first release did come out today. So we have officially started the Heartfelt Stitch Along. For those of you who may not be aware, Heartfelt is a quilt along and stitch along sponsored by Fat Quarter Shop. It is their annual charity project for the Make-A-Wish Foundation for Central and South Florida. Their goal, didn't look it up beforehand. I forget what their goal is for raising money for this. I believe they're already halfway to the goal. And this stitch along goes all year, or no, it goes till July. So the Heartfelt, I don't have a picture handy to show you, unfortunately. The first release is the border. So I am again using 40 count Mayflower. And it has just this is a beautiful neutral fabric. It has just this kind of a tinge of pink. And again, I'm having problems holding it because curly edges. But I've just got to start on the border. You may remember that I have come up with my own colorway floss choices, kind of based on the ones the called for, but they were a little bit too bright for me. So I'm having problems here today. So here is what I have come up with. And I do have this listed. I have a new post on my color conversion page listing what these are and what they are being substituted for in the pattern. So I may or may not continue with the border. I am not one, you know, I might start whenever the next release comes out. I might just start release or stitching the next release, which is, so it's the start of the hearts inside. I'm not one who likes to stitch the whole border to begin with, just in case I've gotten off. You know, I count and I count again and I count again. So I'm not usually off, but just in case, I don't like to stitch the whole border all at the beginning. So we'll see. Heartfelt Stitch Along. Next, I feel like I don't have a whole lot to show you, but for the 2 weeks, but I've been working pretty steadily on just these few, or this one and the sewing box sampler. So, Home for Christmas by Plum Street. This, I will probably, well, it will be done by the end of next week, if not sooner. I don't have that much more to go. This is one I really have been concentrating on quite a bit because I do want to get this done and kind of off of my list. So what do I have left? I have 2 chimneys on the house that I keep forgetting. I have, of course, the rest of the pomegranate branch over here to finish, and then the pomegranates are actually filled in with a different color, so I have to get those filled in over here as well. There's a line of white that goes in up here that I forgot when I was doing this. So just all those kind of little bits and pieces. Those borders were the most, well, besides the house, which I had already had done, but those borders were a lot of stitching, and I was glad to get those done and behind me. So now, yeah, I expect that I'll have this done by the end of next week, which will be a relief. Like I said, I feel like I am missing something, but that is because I have new starts. What were my new starts for January? A Long and Winding Road. I didn't get any more. I took that with me to Phoenix, but I did not even pick that up because I really was concentrating on these ones. What were my other new starts? I could go down here and look at my last notes. I don't know. It's pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't pick up any of the other things. Oh, I forgot. Hold, please. Okay, now I remember. I took English Garden with me to Phoenix, but I didn't work on that at all. One of you did ask if I knew where you can find English Garden. It's actually 16th century knot garden or herb garden or something like that by Liz Turner Deal. I do not know. I know it is an older one. I'm sure it's out of print. Every once in a while you will see it come up on the stash unloading sites, but my recommendation, if you're interested in something in that one or the other ones that she has, would be to look on eBay or keep your eye, do a looking for. Like a lot of the stash unloading sites have a post where you can put if you're in search of something. So post on there and see if you can find it there. The other one I did spend some time on in Phoenix was patchwork. And I had hoped, so I've been working on this medallion here, and I had been hoping to get this done while I was in Phoenix, and you know, it's always more stitching than you realize, so that did not get done, and I haven't pulled it out again since we got home. But maybe this weekend I will give some attention to that and get that medallion done. Again, this is being stitched in Mrs. Seda silks. Just a diagonal rainbow pulling out whatever I think would look good next, basically. One of you did comment that a suggestion of printing out the pattern and kind of getting colored pencils and coloring in at least a general idea of where the colors are going to fall. Obviously, I don't have colored pencils for all the different shades, but it would be a good idea to have a general idea of where I need to change from orange to yellow and yellow to green and green to blue, just where the changes have to happen, so I have a fairly even representation of the colors across the whole pattern. So I do think that's a really good idea. I just need to do it. And that is always the hard part, especially whenever it's all a bunch of different pages. That's kind of a pain. But anyways, that is something I need to do. I am trying to go back up to my notes. Okay, so that is all my stitching that isn't new starts. I'm going to show you my knitting now. And then we'll go into new starts. Hi, baby. That's a pretty girl. She's so pitiful. Mommy, pay attention to me. All right. I knit on the road. That is the easiest thing for me to do. I get chunks of time knitting, and I love it. And I got a chunk done on the Flutter Poncho. Marinha, A-M-A-R-I-N-H-A, Marinja is the designer name. I actually moved up to longer cable, longer needles, but it's still, of course, very scrunched up. I have about 450 stitches on the needle at this point. I am only about halfway through, so I assume there's going to be close to 800 on the needle by the time I'm done, which kind of blows my mind. I am loving this. It is a complicated pattern, the way it is written. I bought the Knit Companion version of it, so it is all separated out into like columns for the different shapes, so I don't have to worry about going back and forth the way this pattern is written. It's much easier, I think, to deal with. And so I can just knit along and follow on Knit Companion and keep track of where I am. I am using three different colors of yarn. The one is the gray. I'll pull those out in a second. You can see the gray there. That's the outline stitches in between. There's the one that has the brighter greens and blues, and then the one that is the more mellow pinks and browns and greens. Now, this one that is the greens up here has morphed into these gorgeous turquoises. Look at those colors. So I am going back and forth every few shapes. These different short row sections are called shapes. So I'll change to the different ball of yarn. And look at that. Oh, this is why I got this colorway, because of the turquoise colors in it. And it just, it makes my heart so happy when I'm stitching these shapes. So this is Earth Yarn, URTH. So this is the gray, and this is all fingering weight. And then these are the two colors. See the gorgeous, and look, this one's coming into turquoise now too. So pretty. So pretty. I do have another skein of this one and another skein of this one that I will be coming to, I'm sure, in the not too well, I've got a ways to go yet. So yeah, a lot of stitching done on this on the trip. Now that I'm home, I try to get a half hour in every day on it. Some days are better than others in that regard. So that is my happy knitting. New starts. Now, new start section, you're going to be hearing a lot about what I got at the attic because, yeah, I'm not waiting. I don't wait to show you before I use this stuff. All right. The first new start, which was an unplanned one. And Nina was just like, oh my God, you're going to kill me with that. Because I had to lift it up over top of her head. So, the attic. First of all, it was a thrill to meet Kim Goldman there, the Contented Stitcher. Totally a surprise. Hi, Kim. It was a thrill to meet you. I enjoyed our discussions and our consultations, and I appreciate your help with everything and helping me go down the rabbit hole of 56 count. But most of this is due to Jean Lee. So Jean had her 56 count, the rose and the giant pear stitching sitting out on the fabric table. And if you've been around me for any length of time, you know that I love stitching over one. I love tiny stitches. It makes, who knows why, it makes my heart sing. And so I very happily said, yep, put that in my basket. So they had it all kitted up with the Creme Brulee 56 count fabric by Tabby Cat and the Soie Surfine threads. And as soon as I got home from the attic that afternoon, I started stitching. And I did not know how I would feel about 56 count. It seems so small, but it's basically the same as stitching over one on 28 count. except the linen is so pretty and it is much more fine. And it's easier to do stitching in hand with the sewing method on over 2 than it is over 1. And I am in love. In love. So I sent an email a couple afternoons later. There's some things that I wanted that I had to order. So I sent an email saying I wanted to add to my order a couple other pieces of 56 count fabric. So, and I did bring some home with me as well. So the Rose and Giant Pear from Hands Across the Sea was an unplanned new start for me in Phoenix. Then my other new start for today, rearrange things here so I can reach them. Here, you come here. Oh my goodness. I have piles. Here, you go up there. Okay. So today is the start of the Into the Woods Fox for our, I have it written down because I can't remember. I said to somebody, and I said to Carolyn, I'm just going to call this the F word Sal because I can't remember how these go. The Foxy Friends Friday Sal. So this is the F word Sal. And this is also, the F word Sal will also be appropriate for when we start the Funky Flowers in May. And speaking of the Funky Flowers, I have fallen so hard in love with 56 count. I ordered some 56 count from XG Designs for that. And it's her reindeer fabric. And I don't know whether any of you are familiar with that. If you've seen it, seen pictures of it, it's like this dark brown. I am probably going to want to shoot myself. But if you've seen the Funky Flowers patterns, you've seen when she has the collage, when she shows you them all together, she has one on white and one on black. And the colors pop so spectacularly on the black. And I saw that reindeer fabric on the XG Design website, on her Etsy page, and I kept going back and forth and back and forth. Dare I try that dark in 56? But I thought, you know, it'll be like it's mulch, like, right? Like it's the dark, rich earth with all these flowers growing out of it. I couldn't resist. There may be some swearing in my future, but I couldn't resist. Anyway, the F word Sal for February is the Foxy Friends Friday Sal, and that starts today. I did start it this morning. There it is. And I couldn't resist 56 count. So I got, well, in my pile of haul from the attic, one of the things I got is 56 count ballet slipper by Fox and Rabbit. And I really was hoping to find a grayish bluish as she shows here for her winter designs. But I couldn't find anything, and I got this and I thought, you know, why not? I think these oranges will be lovely on this. The swans are going to be gorgeous. So I am doing it the 3 set up at a time, the different seasons, on 4 separate pieces of fabric. They will all be 40 count, or I'm sorry, 56 count. I did outline. So the way the designer Vin Tanny, Cottage Garden Samplings, right? How she shows on her website, the winter one set up is number 12. So this is number 1, right? The fox is 1 and the swan is 2, and we don't know what number 12 is. But 12 goes on the, that's the left, right? I'm awful with that. 12 is the first one on the left, and then the fox, and then the swan. So I decided, I went back and forth on that too, whether it matters which order they're in. And I thought, you know something, the designer did that for a reason. So I'm going to stick with that. So I outlined where the first one will go, so you can see the red threads that I put in there. That is where the first one will go, and so then I counted over and down, and you can see I've started the tree, the first tree in the upper corner for the fox. Now, one of the things that I'm totally unsure of in stitching on this fine of fabric is what is appropriate to use for thread. I got the kit, the Soie Surfine, for the Rose and the Giant pair, and it is, of course, amazing to stitch with, and it's gorgeous on this fine fabric. I do not want to be investing that much for all these different projects that I'm going to be doing. So I need to know, for any of you out there that may be more familiar with stitching on this higher count of fabric, I have no problem with stitching with DMC or Vicki Clayton silk on 40 and 46 count. 56 count is quite a bit higher. Let me pull this back down here. I did do some little practice stitches here on my piece of creme brulee. So the brown is one of Vicki Clayton's silks, and the white is white DMC. And I don't know whether you can tell, but they are very full. I think that the silk is slightly less full coverage or puffy than the white. I think once I get down into that fox, it might be a bit of a challenge having that much coverage. But I don't know of any other, certainly cotton floss out there that is any finer than except maybe sewing thread. So I would like to hear from any of you, if there are many of you out there who are crazy enough like me, to stitch just with cotton on something like this to make it more of your like common everyday stitching. What would you use other than like the Soie Surfine or the 103? The Tudor silk is another one that is often used on these higher counts. This is Vicki Clayton silk. So I was going to stitch this with the called for DMC and overdyed. And teal, by the way, I am not going to need the burnt orange and the Grecian gold. I will try to remember to message you as well. Teal Elder very kindly got some extras because I could not find those. I did pull what I showed you earlier in my little pouch from Kim is the colors for the fox. So, and that from Vicki Clayton's, what I have of Vicki Clayton silk. So they are what I feel is close. I had actually pulled the DMC and was going to use that, and then decided, you know something, no, I'm going to go with Vicki's silks. And so I pulled those that are close. So this is actually what I found that was close to 524. I think it's rubbed gray green. So anyway, because I do plan on doing all of these on 56 count and the funky flowers on 56 count, that's a lot to get for silk. So I don't want to make that kind of investment in the silk for those ones. I want to do overdyed for the funky flowers. And I may just go ahead and use DMC. But anyways, I would love to know if any of you have any knowledge of other things, possibilities out there that I could use. I will be forging ahead with the Vicki Claytons on this one, though. All right, so that is the F word Sal, starting today. Foxy Friends Friday Sal. Yay for 56 count. I'm in love. I am in love hard. Hard. Okay, the other new start that is happening probably later today, I was going to possibly do it start later in the month, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and start. And that is the Winter by the Sea. This is the Jeanette Douglas series. I have all of them. I have gotten all of the threads set up on a thread keeper. I have my fabric chosen. I decided to just go with the 32 count. That is her recommended. This is a piece of 32 count called Blueberry Mist, I believe. It is from the company Thread Pickers. She dyes silks mostly, and she had some fabric on a sale once. It's looking lighter on the camera than it really is in person. So I assume everything is showing up lighter, even though I closed the window or closed the blind. But yeah, it's a darker blue. Not real dark. It's more like a sky blue than a light blue. But anyway, so I will be starting with the border down here. You can see these motifs, besides the border and then these Bargello and satin stitch sections here in the corner, most of the motifs are small. They are small. My plan is to do, except the waves down here might take a little longer. Those might take 2 days. I plan on doing one a day. Will I get to it every single day? I don't know, but I think it is very possible to do one a day or one every 2 days and get this done in a timely manner, shall we say. So I am ready to go on that. Where did I put the, oh, there's the, so, and I'm excited to start that because I love Jeanette's designs. I love doing the specialty stitches. I love working with the variegated silks and seeing all the color changes. Just wonderful. Okay, now, next up, let's do a little question and answer, and then I will go into haul. Yeah, okay. And then we'll have the winners announced from the last video. Okay, first of all, we had a question by Rita Sokol. And Rita wanted to know, she had heard that when you're stitching on linen, that you should keep the selvage edge on the right or the left, one of those. And she wanted to know if it does matter. My response was, I don't think it does. Well, I have never worried about where I put the selvage. I usually put it, since I do stitch in hand, and since I don't usually sew the edge of my fabric to keep it from unraveling, I usually put the selvage like on the, either on the left or on the right side or on the top. So my thinking is, or maybe on the bottom, my thinking is my hand is holding the fabric on the left. And so there's less likely of a chance of having the fabric unravel over there because I'm kind of keeping it in check. And on the bottom as well, because it's rolled up, so it's not loose and flying in the wind, if you will. So I keep the selvage edges, or if there's a serged edge, I keep them out somewhere where there's more chance of it unraveling so that it doesn't unravel. Does it matter? I have never noticed my finished pieces, whether large or small, pulling in one way or the other because I've had the selvage on the wrong edge. It looks like, okay, so this one has the selvage on the right. Patchwork has the selvage on the top. My thinking is that because it's an even weave, it doesn't really matter. But I do understand that the selvage is, you know, has something to do with the warp and the weft. So maybe it does. I've never seen a result of it mattering. But if you know something about that, leave a comment and let us know. I would love to know more about that. The other thing I wanted to tell you about, so I mentioned that the silk that I got to stitch the Rose and the Giant Pear is Soie Surfine. It comes in these wonderful little spools. The called for silk in the pattern is actually 100.3 or Soie d'Alger or DMC. So it got me to thinking, what's the difference? I don't know a whole lot about these higher, thinner types of silk. What does 100.3 mean? What is Soie Surfine? So I looked it up, and I'm going to share that with you. So for Soie Surfine and 100.3, this is from the Access Commodities website. And those are both, I believe, Avera Soie products. So Soie Surfine, which is what I have here. I hope you can't hear my Sharky rumbling around up there. He must be back in the bathroom. So it's a fine Z twist, and there's a difference. There's a Z twist or an S twist. It just depends. It's just how the fiber is twisted when it's spun. So Soie Surfine is a fine Z twist spun silk that is 130 by 2. So that means that the 2 means it's 2 ply. And, well, I thought, but that says it's 3. One place I read said that the 2 and the 3 after it means the plies. But I'll tell you something else down here when I read about 100.3. 130 is the weight. So you'll see sewing threads that are 50, 40, 100, 130. The higher it is, the finer it is. So it's a fine Z twist spun silk that is 130 by 2. And so that means it is Soie Surfine is slightly finer than 100.3. A favorite for the fine hand embroidery and counted thread work, Sharon Schomber, again, this is from the Access Commodities website, so she's somebody with them, recommends this thread for piecing, hand applique, and long arm quilting machines. Does not add bulk to seams as silk thread compresses when ironed, and cotton does not. I did not know that. A critical issue when working with fine points in piecing and machine applique. For hand applique, Sharon prefers this thread as it is easy to use and disappears into the fabric. So that is the Soie Surfine, slightly finer than the 100.3. And it also doesn't have as many colors. 100.3, Avera Soie 100 by 3, is a single ply, highly twisted spun silk for embroidery, counted thread, canvas and hand machine, and long arm quilting. Okay, so let me back up. 130 by 2 is the Soie Surfine. 100 by 3 is the Avera Soie, is the 100.3. Again, I saw somewhere that the 2 and the 3 mean the number of plies, but this says the 100 by 3 is a single ply. So I don't know. The color number system is identical. This is 100.3 again. The color number system is identical to Avera Soie Perlée. It is different from Avera Soie d'Alger. So it goes with the other color range, not this Soie d'Alger. The shades are different than Soie d'Alger, and it greatly expands the range of color selection in shades not generally seen in other companies' thread lines for embroidery. So there are a lot of colors for 100.3. The thickness of the thread is slightly finer than the single ply of Soie d'Alger, and the top and bottom of the spool lift for ease in securing the thread. And this is brilliant. So the Soie Surfine is the same. In case you didn't know, the spool, the top and the bottom lift up. So you can see it comes apart a little bit, and the same for this. So whenever you have your thread end, that one isn't out the whole way. Whenever you have your thread ends, you can tuck them in either side. And so what I do is tuck the end still on the spool inside one side, and then if I have some thread that I have to put back on the spool, I'll put it on the other side. And so it's a handy way of keeping the thread. I need a good way to store this though. Anybody know a good way to store these kind of spools? Let me know. Okay, and the last one is Gloriana Tudor. So Tudor is another one that is used in these higher counts of fabric. So again, it is a Gloriana product. Our hand-dyed Tudor silk, so it is hand-dyed, whereas these are, they're not hand-dyed, they're solids. Our hand-dyed Tudor silk, manufactured in Switzerland, is an extra fine silk, wonderful for stitching on high count fabrics, such as 40 and 45 count linens and 56 count linens. It separates into 12 strands, with each strand half the weight of a normal strand of our silk floss. So much lighter than the Gloriana, the regular Gloriana. With each strand, oh, I read that. Stitch with one strand over one on fine counts, or vary the number of strands for other counts. To stitch, use a short length of Tudor silk. If knotting occurs, Thread Heaven can help prevent it. So I hope you found that interesting. I did. I like to know, just, you know, be informed about what I'm using. So, haul featuring the attic. Da-da-da! A little tray from the attic that I keep here on my stitchy table. Itchy nose. All right. Okay, that was a long and winding road. I didn't make any progress on that. Okay, I got a couple of thank you cards for the gifts some of the gifts I sent out for the Christmas extravaganza. First is from Jennifer Kelly. Gorgeous card. That would make a gorgeous cross-stitch project. She sent me as a little thank you gift a skein. Thank you, Jennifer. And then this gorgeous, gorgeous card. Oh, handmade by Diana Rose. I didn't notice that, Diana, at first. Look at this card. Isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful, Diana, just beautiful. So interesting. When I looked at this, when I got it, I thought this deserves to be framed. I was watching Karen Kirk and Brendan Kirk yesterday, Fox and Rabbit Designs, and they were talking about they're still getting the Christmas cards. They were talking about some of those that deserve to be framed. And it made me realize I had gotten a card with a very colorful elephant on it out when we were in Hawaii, and I framed that. I don't know where it is. It did not make it to this house. And you know, it's funny because I hadn't thought of it at all, and thinking about framing these cards, it's like, wait a second, where is that? Strange odds and ends that did not make it here. Funnels. We had a set of 3 just little funnels for the kitchen. It didn't make it here. Just all kinds of strange odds and ends. And that's one of them. Maybe it's still hidden in a box. We still have some boxes of books that we haven't opened yet, or we haven't put away yet. Made me sad to think of it though, because it was a pretty card. Anyway, more haul. This is not courtesy of the attic though. Fat Quarter Shop's next set of floss, fine floss. This is the MPI Floss Club. Look at those colors. Mediterranean blue. Oh my God. Are those my colors or what? I think I need to design something with these. Oh, they make my heart go pitter patter. What else do we have back here? We have a project bag from Lisa Smith. I love her bags. I love what she creates. And is this perfect or what for the Winter Into the Woods project series? And look at the buttons. Turquoise. So yeah, Into the Woods will be going into this as soon as I'm done here. All right, now we get to the attic haul. All right, let's pull this over. Try not to bonk Nina on the head. So I know, I said, I really don't think I'll be getting much there. I don't need anything. I'm saving myself for Nashville. What do you do when you see stuff that you can't get anywhere else? You buy it. All right, so you've already seen the kit for the Rose and the Giant Pear. This is Sahara Sand fabric by Tabby Cat, and Tabby Cat is becoming well known through Nicola, Hands Across the Sea. Tabby Cat is dyed by the same woman who is the designer at Mill on the Floss. She is in France, and so she started to dye fabric, and my understanding from what Jean said, if I remember correctly, Nicola is friends with her, and so she has started to use her fabric, and so of course the attic is carrying it. So this is 46 count Sahara Sand by Tabby Cat, and it is scrumptious. And again, it is showing up slightly lighter than it is in person, but it is just a beautiful brownish with some reds or pinks or gorgeous modeling. Just stunning. I could always use that for the funky flowers if the 56 reindeer is too dark. We'll see. That is winging its way to me from Hungary. Is that the right, what is that? Oh, that's creme brulee. I also got, Jean, being on top of her game, made sure that I understood that I needed different needles to stitch on 56 count. So she recommends these beading needles. They're size 10 and size 12 beading needles. She likes, I believe she likes the 12s. Carolyn, that works there at the attic, Stash Sisters, Carolyn likes the 10s. It's because of how easily or not the silk slides out of the eye of the needle. Okay, that's creme brulee. That goes up there. This is Sahara Sand. Okay. Needle and flax. They had some needle and flax fabric, so I got some of that. This is Delaware Crossing. Again, 46 count. Because gorgeous blue. How can I resist? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Again, it is darker than what you are seeing on screen, or at least what I am seeing on screen. So these are fat quarters of each of these, or close to fat quarters by the looks of the labels. Beautiful. All right, and then I mentioned that I got a cut of ballet slippers, 56 count, Fox and Rabbit. Now, I've cut some of this for, as you saw, the fox. I've cut some of it for this new pattern. So one of the dangerous things about walking into the attic when you are a lover of small stitches is how many models they have in the small stitches, because that's what Jean likes to stitch. And they had this as a tiny little model. So Scarlet House, this is a Sampler Grows, just a little pin cushion. And I have a cut of the ballet slippers in this. So the problem with that is there are a couple things that are stitched over one. So that, and then these little flowers that are on top of the house. And there just ain't no way. You know, whether I can see it is one issue, but if I'm working even with Vicki Clayton silks, which I believe are slightly thinner than DMC, over one just isn't going to work. Even doing a 10th stitch, it isn't going to work. It's just too much. So I am not going to do those. I will do, like, I'll find something else. There's a little star up here in the corner of the pin cushion. I don't believe that's stitched over one. I may just repeat that there. Anyways, I'll figure that out. But That is more the ballet slipper. And then I also got by Tabby Cat a cut, this is 40 count lichen. And so this is a pale green that may or may not have one of my new spring designs on it. Haven't gotten that far yet. I also got some floss there for some different projects, one of which is one of my spring designs, but also for with the needle. This is going to be Carolyn's and my start at StitchCon. I put my Treehouse Fiber Arts fabric in there. This was the Fabric of the Month Club fabric that I got. I had been thinking about doing this on the Delaware Crossing, the 46 count, because I think this would be really, really pretty on that blue. But there is some over one stitching on this as well. The words here are over one. And I just decided no. 40 is small enough. If you remember, I did over one on 40 count on my Grace Quaker sampler. And I did full crosses on that. I won't do full crosses on this. I'll do half crosses. The full crosses were way too much. So I have this. There's a few colors that I'm still missing that I ordered from Fat Quarter Shop. And then there's a few even more that neither place had in stock. So that will be almost ready to go. I also bought this sampler. Again, there was a model there, and the antique sampler was hanging there too, and it was, you can see the antique here. And you can see, Jean explained this to me, I hadn't really thought about it when I saw the antique. You can see the antique is more of a rectangular shape, whereas the model is a square. That's because the antique is done on an uneven weave. And so that's the kind of difference that happens. So, I don't know when I'll do this, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous sampler by My Lady's Needle. Then, if you remember, after the roses, I had gotten this at Stitches from the Heart in Texas, and I had gotten a piece of 56 count parchment to do it on. They had a sample there on their wall that I absolutely fell in love with. But I decided that I think I like the ballet slipper better for this one as well. Now, I had asked Vicki to do up a pack for After the Roses. I'm sure that is still on her list. But I also asked Jean and the ladies at the attic to put together a silk conversion for me in the Swasserfine 100.3 Tudor, whichever colors work. So I will see. This is a March start. This is one of my birthday starts. So hopefully I will get both of those sets by then, and I'll decide then which one I'm going to use. Okay, other haul. Look, there's more. So this is part of my order from Acorns and Threads that I put in when I was there. My patterns for the fox and the swans in the Into the Woods series is coming from them. I did put myself on an auto ship from them for that series. So I got the first two. And then I had ordered a couple other things. So for my sheep wall, 1831 Christmas by Plum Street. And then this Quaker Floral Puzzle by Ink Circle. Acorns had this as a model. It was just amazing. Amazing. So this is going to be my first of spring start when Carolyn starts that spring montage one by Janet Stever. This is going to be my start. It is charted in it's charted in DMCs. So I will, yeah, I'll have to get working on kitting that up. last but not least, my first package from Laura Nelkins at the N Club. You can see it is not opened, and you can read there, do not open until the unboxing. I haven't opened it yet, Laura. I don't think she watches my videos, but that's okay. What she does is for every kit that she sends out for the N Club, she does a live unboxing video, I think on her Facebook group. So that is happening next Friday, so I will not be able to open this until then. I think it's pretty good that I haven't opened it yet because I'm not very good with waiting on surprises and Christmas gifts. I told you about that before, right? Okay, I think that is all that I have. Excuse me, my voice is getting a little bit tender. Okay, now the winners of my patterns. So this is 4 winners to celebrate my 4 years on Flosstube. And so the winners are, the first one is Kathy Birch, and Kathy Birch's favorite pattern of mine is Midnight Clear. The second winner is Kathleen Sullivan, and she also loves Midnight Clear. The third winner is Kathy Adams, and she loves my newest one, In My Heart. That one is there. Midnight Clear is actually tucked back there. And then the last one is Jennifer Apple or Appel, and she loves Meditation Garden. And poor Meditation Garden has not been framed yet, hopefully soon. So anyways, guys, what I need you to do, again, I will comment on your comment, but what I need you to do is email me and let me know what email address you want me to send the patterns to, and I will get those PDFs right out to you. Angel card. So this is Teresa Kogut's Angel Kindness cards. This one says, spend as much time with your loved ones as possible. It's time you'll never regret and time you'll never get back. And how perfect is this, having just come home from visiting my father-in-law. I talked to Carolyn at the attic also. Excuse me. I had watched the video she did with her mother and her mother starting to stitch before I went to the attic. And so I was talking to her about her mother. Her mother lives across the street from her. And I can't tell you how lucky you guys are that still have, I'm going to cry because, yeah, I lost my mother very young. She was my best friend. And I totally am envious of all of you who still have your mothers, who are my age, and still have your mothers with you. Cherish every moment, because it's gone before you know it. I love you guys. I hope you know that. All right, so I totally flubbed up the end. I got confused with not getting the giveaway things done. So I'm back. I kind of went away and started to edit and realized I didn't tell you how to, what we needed to do for the giveaways I'm doing for the 15,000. So, all right. So the easy one is 15% off in my store. So like I said, and I'm kind of perched on the edge of the chair here because Nina has taken over. But anyways, 15% off in my Etsy shop. I will have that set up and it will be, you won't need a coupon. Everything will be 15% off. The Everything Cross Stitch Stitch and Stuff box. If you are interested in this, just say in the comments, I would like some Stitch and Stuff. And then the floss bag, the little floss bobbin bag from Kim Smith, Kim's Stitch and Stuff. If you are interested in that, please put in the comments, I need something to store my bobbins. Yeah, and so I will be searching on Stitch and Stuff, and I will be searching on bobbins for the, when I draw the winners in my next video. So I think that's all I needed to say, except to tell you I love you guys. I am sorry this has been this kind of has a strange ending to it, but I hope you guys take care of yourselves those of you that are in the path of this nasty winter storm passing across the country, please stay safe and warm, and I will talk to you soon. I love you guys. Bye-bye.